Welcome. I'm Jennifer Bourne, and I'm so glad you're here. Today, we're talking about 5 easy ways to plan new blog posts. Now, almost every freelancer and business owner I know loves the idea of a blog. They've heard that blogging is the fastest and easiest way to increase website traffic, improve search engine rankings, build an email list, and gain expert positioning. They've also heard that blogging is a great way to attract new clients, and they want to achieve all of that. They've also been sold on the idea that leveraging a blog to get new business is free, which they love. But blogging isn't really free, and blogging for business isn't exactly easy. Blogging is a long-term strategy. For most site owners, this means there isn't an immediate return on investment, and in an instant gratification society, this causes huge amounts of frustration and often results in blogs being abandoned or ignored. So while many clients love the idea of blogging, the blogs created for them tend to sit dormant, doing nothing to help the business generate leads and get more clients. This also means that your clients probably aren't seeing the results that they want from their website. Similarly, many freelancers have blogs but rarely post new content. They're so busy with the sales, marketing, business management, and actually doing the work they're hired to do that there just isn't enough time to blog. Maybe you can relate. Do you like the idea of having a blog but feel overwhelmed by the realities of managing a blog and creating new content regularly? Content that you can really be proud of? If you answered yes, you are not alone. Most freelancers, agencies, business owners, they all have the same reasons for not blogging. It feels difficult, it's time-consuming, and it often feels impossible to figure out how to squeeze it in. It feels hard to come up with great ideas for new blog posts. Writing compelling headlines is challenging. You might not be sure what to say. You've tried following other people's formulas, but it hasn't worked for you yet. Maybe it feels really hard to find the time needed to write new posts. Now, the good news is all of these things can be overcome. With advanced planning, creating new blog content can be fast and easy. The key is organizing blog posts before you need them. With advanced planning, creating new blog posts can be fast and easy, I promise. Now, here are 5 easy ways for you to organize and plan amazing new blog posts with as little effort as possible, which means in as little time as possible. So, number 1, start an idea file. Inspiration for a blog post can hit at any time. Create one place to write down all of your blog post ideas so you have them to reference in the future. You can do this in a software program, a journal, or on your phone. I use the Notes app on my iPhone because it syncs with my iMac and my MacBook, and I can access my blog post ideas anywhere I'm at when I'm ready and in the mood to write. Now, this approach works wonders when you don't simply write down the topic idea, but you also add context to that idea. Here's what to write down when inspiration strikes: the topic or idea for the blog post, any possible headlines, and how you came up with the idea. Write down any story that might fit with it. This is a lifesaver, as you think you'll remember that story later, but you probably won't. And then, if you have an inspiration source, link to it if you can, or if you were inspired by a tweet or a Facebook post, grab that embed code and save it so you have it later. Write down that key message that you want to communicate in the post, or the major bullet points that you're thinking of when inspiration has struck. If you've got any image ideas, write those down too. It's important to jot everything you can down when inspiration strikes because you might not remember those things later. Don't overthink it. Don't worry about writing incomplete sentences. Don't even edit yourself. You can do that later when you're writing the final blog post. This exercise is just meant to get the meat of the content out of your head. And if you do this every time you've got an idea for a new blog post, soon you'll find that you've got a whole bunch of blog posts that are already partway complete and just need to be finished up. This approach takes the stress out of coming up with blog post ideas on the spot. Idea number 2, use a timer. If you are anything like me, you might find that you work the best under pressure or up against a deadline. You probably also notice that when you're up against a deadline, you get things done faster, which means your effective hourly rate is higher and you make more money. There's a saying that the work will expand to fit the amount of time that it has, which is why when there are no constraints on your time, the work will take a really long time, and coming up with blog posts can seem like it takes forever. This is exactly why you need to use a timer. When working against the clock, it's easier to tune out distractions, focus, and make quick decisions. Here's how using a timer works to brainstorm blog posts in only 10 minutes. Choose a topic and set the timer for 3 minutes. Brainstorm as many headlines as you possibly can in that time, and don't edit yourself. Don't second guess, don't stop, don't slow down. Every idea is a good idea. When the timer buzzes, stop. Set the timer for then 1 minute, and in that time, review each headline and circle the best ones. Then set the timer for 6 minutes, and in that time, quickly outline the blog post content for each headline. List what content to include, images, ideas, stories, the problem it solves, what you want to communicate, why someone should care about that topic. Just do it as fast as possible. Don't really think too much about it. If something doesn't come to you for headline right away, just skip it and move on. At the end of this exercise, so at the end of 10 minutes, you'll already have a few blog posts that are halfway done. You'll just need to finish them up later. Idea 3, speak your post. None of my great ideas seem to come to me at the perfect moment. In fact, many of my great ideas don't come when I'm sitting conveniently in front of my computer or I have access to a journal or something to write with. Sometimes I can't even write them down because inspiration might strike while I'm in the car and I'm driving. If you can't write down your blog posts or you don't like writing, you're not a writer, you can still create blog content regularly. You can simply talk about your topic. If you can talk about it, then you have got blog content. Speaking your content is often much faster than writing your content as well, because when we're talking, we're not self-editing and judging and criticizing what we're saying like we do when we're writing. Now, here's how speaking your content works. When you've got a great blog post idea, simply grab your smartphone, your computer, your digital recorder, whatever it is, and record your thoughts out loud. Imagine yourself explaining your idea to someone else. Then have that recording transcribed. I use rev.com. I simply send over my video or my audio, and they transcribe it and send it right back to me. That way, all I have to do is edit it and clean it up for my blog post. It is much easier and faster to edit existing content than it is to start from scratch. Idea 4, start with the imagery. If you're a visual person who's inspired by photos and images and graphics, start there. When browsing stock photography sites, I often am struck with new ideas for blog posts or content sites based on images that I'm seeing. When that happens, I save the image along with my thoughts and ideas so I can reference it later. The only thing to be careful of with this approach is being sucked in by those stock photography sites and losing hours from your day. Now, here's how I use this approach for blog content inspiration without wasting a lot of time. I set a timer for 15 minutes. I visit my favorite stock photo site and I search for images on a topic that's relevant to my brand. For every image I find that gives me a blog post idea, I write down that image number and I write down all the ideas that I had associated with that image. And I either save that image into a Lightbox or I download it right to my computer and save it with that blog post idea. Now, this approach not only gives me a bank of blog posts that are partially already fleshed out, but it gives me the featured image for my blog post to go along with them so I don't have to search for just the right image later. And idea 5, grab a pencil. One of my favorite ways to brainstorm new content isn't to do it on my computer, but to get somewhere cozy with a snack or a drink, and I get out a good old-fashioned paper and pencil. In fact, most of the articles that I write or the video scripts that I create, they're all done by hand with pencil and paper first. I then edit and clean them up as I type them up. Now, some people, if you're like me, you might just find that creativity flows just a little bit more naturally when you're not sitting in front of a screen. If this is for you, own it. Get yourself a nice pen or a brand new set of pencils, get some really great paper or a beautiful journal, and write. Write out all the things that you can think of. It doesn't have to be complete thoughts. It doesn't have to be full sentences. Just get those ideas out of your head. Maybe try setting a timer and doing that in just 10 minutes. You never know what you can come up with in that short amount of time. Now, in this scenario, right, the same as the others, all you're doing is focusing on flushing out the ideas that you have in your head so you have something to go with later when you need content. This approach, this is my go-to strategy, right? Pen and paper and a timer. It works like a charm for me. But now, if creating blog posts or creating blog content for you has been tough in the past, I highly recommend you try each of these 5 ideas for quickly generating new blog post ideas. Try all 5 and see which one works the best for you. Because when you find one that works best for you and you find an approach or a process that you're comfortable with, then you're going to be able to stick with it long term. Just remember, when you're writing down blog post ideas and you're writing down inspiration when it strikes, the more detail you can get out of your head and down on paper, the better. The faster and easier it's going to be for you to generate those blog posts, for you to finish it up and get them ready to publish, but also the less stress it's going to be because you might not remember everything you think of right now. So again, really quick, when you're writing down blog post ideas, think about creating a rough outline for a post and get everything out as fast as possible, right? The topic or idea, possible headlines, the problem it solves or addresses, why someone should care, how you came up with the idea, any stories that fit with it, a link to your inspiration source or the embed code for a tweet or a Facebook post that inspired you, and the key message that you want to communicate, as well as any images that might have inspired you or notes about an image idea you might have to go along with the blog post. If you can do this, you'll be getting all of the heavy lifting done up front, so creating new blog posts will be easier and faster. And if you use this same approach with your clients, you can help them leverage their blog better to get even better results from their website, which means you will get better testimonials and more referrals. It's really just that simple. Thanks so much for being here today, and if you want more articles and videos like this, consider subscribing to my email list or subscribe to my YouTube channel so you never miss a video or an article in the future. Until next time, thanks so much. I'm Jennifer Bourne, and again, have a great day.